5 men mocked a woman, a veteran, or did you buy that tag online? No one stepped in. No one believed she had ever worn the uniform. But 30 minutes later, 4 military vehicles pulled into the parking lot. 8 U.S. Marines stepped out. They weren't there to arrest anyone. They came to honor someone who survived a war and was humiliated on her own homeland. This isn't just a veteran story. This is justice for veterans. And you're about to witness what no one saw coming. Yacht. Her name is Karen Mitchell, 48 years old, former U.S. Marine Corps officer. Today, all she wanted was to grab some groceries. Her old blue Ford quietly pulled into a disabled veteran spot. A valid tag hung from the mirror. The license plate clearly read, "Veteran." She stepped out, walking slowly, her left leg a prosthetic. A breeze flipped the edge of her coat, revealing a tattoo of a soaring eaglet emblem of the Corps. No one looked, no one noticed, and maybe no one cared. Karen once gave orders amid falling bombs. Now, she walked across the parking lot, with eyes that no longer expected anything from the world. But there were eyes, watching her very differently. Yid. The roar of engines echoed at the far end of the lot. 5 men on Harley-Davidsons rolled up. Black, leather jackets, sunglasses, a skull logo on their backs. Born free, die loud. They stopped, glaring at Karen. One smirked. "Wrong parking spot, lady." The second laughed, sarcasm dripping. "Well, maybe you married a vet and borrowed his tag?" Karen didn't flinch, didn't respond. She opened her trunk, pulled out a grocery badge, ignoring them. The last biker sneered. "Bet she bought that fake leg on Amazon." They burst out laughing. In the middle of the lot, that laughter sliced like a blade across her dignity. But what they didn't know, they had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. One biker pulled out his phone. He circled the car, laughing but already recording. Karen kept walking, steadying her steps, heading toward the store. "Fake vet. Look, people caught in the act." The caption on the screen read, "Stolen valor, fake vet. Drama at Walmart." The video went live in under a minute. Seconds later, the comments started rolling in. "Totally fake. No way a woman's a Marine." Another one chasing clout. No one fact-checked. No one asked who she was. With just a swipe, truth was erased, and the online cruelty moved faster than her steps back to the lot. Yacht. Karen was wheeling her cart back when a voice called from behind. "Ma'am, I need to see your ID." A mall security guard. Standing beside him, 2 of the smirking bikers. Karen calmly pulled out her wallet. A green military ID. Sergeant Karen Mitchell, U.S. Marine Corps. The guard squinted. "Your tag says Marine, but the plate says Army. Doesn't match." Karen tightened her grip, steadying herself. "I borrowed my brother's car. I served 8 years in Fallujah." The guard said nothing, eyes full of doubt. No apology. Around them still, no one spoke. No one stood up for her. Karen felt once again like she was in a fight alone. Yacht. Karen stood there, papers in hand, the shadow at her feet long and heavy with silence. No one asked if she needed help. No one said a word. An older woman pushing a cart looked away. A young store clerk bowed his head, pretending not to see. Karen didn't beg. She quietly placed the ID back in her wallet, nodded to the guard and walked off. Her prosthetic leg echoed with each step. Clack, 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 on the hot pavement. Every step heavier, colder. She opened her car, but instead of leaving, she sat down, breathing slow. Not from exhaustion, but from the loneliness washing over her like a tide. And in that moment, someone was watching. Not far off, by the vending machine, a young man in a gray hoodie stood silently. He had been there since the bikers laughed. He saw her get questioned by security. He heard the tap of her fake leg striking pavement like it echoed inside his chest. He didn't speak, didn't intervene, but his fist clenched. His eyes stayed locked on that blue Ford. He opened his phone, a brief call, just a few words. "She's here, alone. We owe her something." He hung up, checked his watch, and waited like counting down. Because when someone once saved your life, you don't let them get buried in silence. A low rumble rolled in from the far side of the lot. Then another. Then two more. 4 olive-drab military jeeps entered. No sirens, no flashing lights, just engines humming like a heartbeat rising. They pulled in, right into the center of the parking lot, blocking every exit. The doors opened in unison. 8 Marines stepped out in full uniform. No one shouted, no orders barked. They simply stood in formation, still, facing one direction, Karen Mitchell's old Ford. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The bikers fell silent. Because when the military arrives and not to enforce, it might be to honor. A man stepped out from the line of Marines, chiseled face, uniform sharp, rank, staff sergeant. He stood tall and declared, all present, to honor Sergeant Karen A. Mitchell. He didn't glance at the bikers, nor the crowd. His eyes locked onto the woman frozen behind the wheel. United States Marine Corps, deployed to Fallujah, Iraq. In 2007, after an IED blast, she returned to rescue 3 wounded Marines despite losing her left leg. His voice didn't tremble, but every word punched through the thick air. Awarded the Purple Heart. Recognized for valor under fire. Karen Mitchell, the woman mocked moments ago, was a true hero. Another figure, stepped forward. Captain Thomas Blake, silver hair, medals of command glinting. He held a folder, opened it, spoke in a calm, resolute tone. Sergeant Karen Mitchell, 3 Purple Hearts, 1 Bronze Star. V. Device for valor. Only woman in Bravo 2 Battalion history to complete naval water survival training. The parking lot fell utterly silent. No more sneers, no more skeptical eyes, only the faint rustle of paper, and the wet shimmer in the eyes of men who once thought they knew what honor looked like. But one Marine in formation wasn't just a witness, he was part of her story. From the end of the line, the young Marine in the gray hoodie stepped forward, no longer hidden, no longer silent. He faced the crowd and spoke, soft but clear. My name is Private Ryan Carter. I served under Sergeant Karen Mitchell in Fallujah. He swallowed, looked at Karen, then the onlookers. I was wounded in the blast. I remember she pulled me from the rubble while bleeding from her own leg. His voice caught, then one sentence silenced the entire lot. I am alive because of the woman you just mocked. He paused. And today, I don't stand here out of affection. I stand here for honor. No one spoke. The air felt vacuumed. The woman who once looked away now stood still, hand over her heart. A young boy lowered his phone, stood upright. His father nodded and whispered, "You're looking at a real hero." An elderly man in a Vietnam vet cap wiped his eyes. He raised his hand to his brow, saluting, slowly. One by one, like a ripple, phones went down. People stepped out from the shadows and stood tall. No chants, no orders, just the awakening of honor long buried beneath apathy and judgment. But not everyone could face that truth. The bikers no longer laughed, no swagger, no smirks. One turned away, pretending to check his bike. Another stared at his phone, fingers trembling as he deleted the video. The loudest one at the start now couldn't meet anyone's eyes. Sweat gathered on his brow, though the air wasn't warm. They stood still, amid a sea of people saluting the woman they had mocked for not fitting their veteran stereotype. No one needed to lecture them. No one shouted, no revenge, because sometimes silence from truth is the heaviest sentence. And the woman they humiliated still hadn't said a word. Karen opened her car door, stepped out. The breeze caught her silvering hair, her worn jacket. She walked slowly, but each step carried years of battle, each heartbeat a refusal to surrender. The 8 Marines still stood at attention, no movement, only tear-filled eyes saluting their commander. She didn't speak, just nodded a small, steady nod that said, "I hear you." I understand. I forgive. A small child, no more than 10, let go of his mother's hand, and saluted too. And in that moment, the entire parking lot became a silent ceremony of honor. Not because she asked for it, but because she deserved it. Yeah, Karen Mitchell never asked for defenders. She didn't scream. She didn't fight back with fury. She just stood tall, and truth acted on its own. Today, justice didn't come from a courtroom or a lawyer. It came from those who once bled beside her. It came from a child who learned to salute, and from hundreds who dared to rise when truth was disrespected. Because no soldier should be forgotten, no wound should be dismissed by bias, and no silence should ever be mistaken for weakness. You don't need to wear a uniform to act with honor. Justice for veterans means choosing to stand on the side of what's right, even if all you're doing is watching this video.